right, boys and girls. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is solving formulas. All right, so when you're working with finance and things like that, you have a lot of formulas, and we'll be actually learning a lot of the finance formulas a little bit later in the semester. So you need to know how to rearrange formulas. So when you're doing a formula, you do basically the same thing you would do if you solve an equation. This is just kind of the way I teach this. I always say just circle the variable you're solving for, determine the operations you need to undo, and that would be like opposite of add is subtract, opposite of multiply is divide, and so forth. So you do that until the variable's isolated. So it's just like solving an equation. In fact, it is an equation. It's got an equal sign in it, therefore it's an equation. So I'm going to start this one like this. This is just the way I teach this. We're going to solve for A. So I'm going to draw a circle around that. And what that means is we need to get rid of M. You just got to get rid of M the correct way. So these are attached by multiply. The opposite of multiply is to divide both sides by M. When you take M divided by M, see, you get 1, so you get F over M. Technically, it's equal to 1A, but we know 1 times anything is itself. So A would be equal to F over M. This formula in physics is force is equal to mass times acceleration. You don't necessarily have to know that for this class, but that's a well-known physics formula that comes from Isaac Newton. Okay, this next one is one you're going to learn in this class a little bit later, what we call the slope-intercept form. So again, I'm going to start off by simply doing this. Right, I'm going to draw a circle around the x, so the x needs to be by itself. All right, that means I got to get rid of b, and I got to get rid of m. Now, it takes 2 steps to do that. You want to undo the addition. See, that's attached by addition, so you subtract b from both sides of the equation. When you do that, you'll have y minus b in that order, and then m times x, then that goes to 0. All right, one more step. Again, I'm going to circle the variable. I want that to be by itself. So what's the correct way to get rid of multiply by m? That is to divide by m. Okay, good. M divided by m is 1. So like the last problem, we have y minus b over m is equal to 1 times x. Technically, you can skip that step, just doing that for emphasis mainly. So that would be x is equal to y minus b over m would be the answer to that problem. All right, so it's an equation. You do exactly on these problems what you would do on an equation. Okay, do 2 more and then I'll let you do a few of these. This next one says 3a plus 4b equals c. Again, I'm going to draw a circle around the b. Like that, and that means we got to get rid of a 3a and a 4. And we got to do this in a certain order. Okay, again, the number that's multiplied is the last thing you get rid of. So the way to get rid of 3a, since it's attached by adding, is to subtract from both sides. Okay, so when I do that, I'm going to have, that will go to 0. You're going to have 4b equals c minus 3a, and it's got to be in that order. You're subtracting from the number. Then the last thing you do, you're getting b by itself. How do you get rid of the 4? You undo the multiplication of 4 by dividing by 4, so then you're done. So we got 1b, or b is equal to c minus 3a over 4. All right, so that would be the solution to that problem. Okay, the next one. We can do this one in a couple of different ways. I'm just going to do this one like this. So I'm going to write down the problem, circle the variable we're solving for, and that'll help you to focus on this correctly. So what do you get rid of? You got to get rid of a 20 and a 9/4. Okay, you get rid of the number in front at the very end. The way you get rid of subtracting is to do what? To add. Okay, so do that. So that would be a plus 20 is equal to 9/4 times b with that going away. Okay, now what I do is if you want to get rid of 9/4, well, you really think of this. If you take 9/4 and multiply it by its reciprocal, that'll give you 1. Excuse me, anytime you add, multiply by reciprocal, you get 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do is multiply this whole entire side by 4/9. I'm going to multiply that side by 4/9. What that's going to do is the 9s go to 1, the 4s go to 1, so you're really left with 1b. And then you just leave this alone. It's good enough to just leave this answer like that. Okay, that's fine. So you just write it as b equals 4/9 parentheses a plus 20. You can distribute and multiply it out if you want to. If you did, you would get 4/9 a plus 80 over 9. And what I did on that is I did 4/9 times 20 over 1, multiplying straight across is how I get that. So either of those answers is okay. Okay, so I'm just going to have you do 2 problems and then the video's done. This is going to be pretty short. Just want to make sure you know how to do this and practice this a little bit. So pause and try these next 2. Okay, so these are the answers you should have got. The first one, you should have got P equals I over RT. Second one, you would get T equals A minus P all over PR. And you can't go any further on that problem either. So let me kind of talk through what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm yawning. I'm putting myself to sleep. That's not good. So what I do here is when I circle the letter P is attached by multiplication. RT, you can think of RT as just one number, and you undo the multiplication by RT by dividing. Okay, see that crosses out the R and T, and then you're done. Okay, the next one, I circled the T. You got 2 things you got to get rid of. You got to get rid of a P that's being added. Then you got to get rid of a PR that's being multiplied. Again, treat the things that are multiplied just as one big thing. And so I subtract P. So I'd get A minus P is PRT, then divide by PR. Then I'm done. Now you cannot cross out those P's. I see students do it all the time. You can't do the cross out the P's. It doesn't work. Let me explain why and just do this at the side. I would write this down. Let me give you an example. Let's say that we have 10 minus 5 over 5 times 2. And let me change this number to like 25. Just because it's easier to see, I think. So if you work this problem out, here's what you do. You do 25 minus 5 would be 20. 5 times 10 is 5 times 2 is 10. 20 divided by 10 is 2. That's the answer. Does it work if you do this? Absolutely not. Then what would you have left? You'd have what? 25 over 2? No way. It doesn't work. And it's because of that subtraction sign. That's what keeps that from happening. So just a little simpler example, like if you had 15 plus 5 over 5, the answer is 20 over 5 or 4. It does not work. And the reason it does not work is because of that addition symbol. Okay, but I want to show you this. What if we had 15 times 5 over 5? And you can use your calculator to help. That would be 75 over 5. 75 divided by 5 is 15. Does it work? Yes, it works. The reason it works is because there's only a multiplication symbol. So what you'll kind of find is if you have nothing but multiplication symbols in here, well, you can cross out the 5s and the 2s. But once you put a plus sign in there anywhere or a minus sign anywhere in the fraction, it doesn't work anymore. Okay, so that's the idea. All right, so that'll take care of that. And I'm going to go ahead and post this.